Now we are going to talk about counting words in Farsi. In Farsi, people use counting words a lot, and there are some words, counting words, that are used specifically for some specific items, and there are some counting words that are generic, that are used for everything. And the generic ones are colloquial and are not used in written Farsi. So now we will start by talking about the generic counting words in Farsi. The first and the most common one is the word ta. So as we talked, when we were talking about chant, the interrogative words, we talked that sometimes people in asking questions, they use ta after chant when they want to ask a question. Let's look at this example. Chant ta مرد در اتاق هست. How many men are in the room? So in order to answer, you again use the counting word. For example, say سه تا مرد, 3 men, سه تا مرد. So دو تا مرد, سه تا مرد, 4 تا مرد. Always, for example, چند تا کتاب در کتابخانه است. How many books are in the library? So as you can see, ta can be used for human being, for a book, or some other items. So this is a generic counting word. This example, for example, چند تا سیب خوردی. How many apples did you eat? Literally in Farsi is how many apple. As we talked, never use a plural noun after chant. چند تا سیب خوردی. And I say 5 تا سیب. چند تا سیب خوردی؟ 5 تا سیب خوردم. So very important to remember, ta is optional. Counting words in Farsi, they are optional. Even though they are used and they are very common, it's optional. You can use it, or you can just ask your question or answer the question without using these counting words. But when you hear it, you should know what it is. So ta is one of the generic counting words that is used for everything in Farsi. Another generic one is dane. Dane literally means grain, and it was supposed just to be used for the unanimated things, like for example یک دانه گندم, a grain of wheat. But now it's a kind of generic, and it's in a spoken Persian is interchangeable with ta. Another important point is that in a spoken Persian, like other words that have on in it, it changes to un. Dane in a spoken Persian is dune. Dane is dune. So it is very important to know that in a spoken Persian, you never hear dane, except for someone who talks like books. So always you hear dune. Ane changes to une, dune. So for example, chand dune for example کتاب داری. How many books do you have? And literally how many book do you have? You can say شش دونه. شش دونه. دانه changes to dune. So as a ta is much more common than this one, dune, in the spoken Farsi, but they are interchangeable. So if you heard that, you shouldn't get confused what it is. It is a generic counting word. But there are some other counting words that are more specific. Now I will talk about just two of them. One is nafar. That is just used for human beings. So for example, you want to ask how many people are in that room. You ask chand nafar در آن اتاق هستند. See, how many people are in that room? So, and the answer is, for example, 10 نفر. 10 people. How many people are in that room? چند نفر در آن اتاق هستند? And the answer is 10 نفر. 10 people. So نفر is just used. For example, say چند نفر به مهمانی آمدن. How many people did come to the party? And you can say 10 نفر, 20 نفر. So نفر is just used for human beings. And as you can see, it comes after the question word چند. And this one, for example, if you use the number, it comes after the number. So 6 دونه, 5 تا, 3 تا, 10 نفر. Another counting word that is more specific is جلد. جلد is just used for books, and it's very common. So for example, you want to know that how many books I have, so it's more formal. So instead of saying چند تا کتاب داری, you can ask me چند جلد کتاب داری. Jeld means kind of copy, if you want to translate it. So چند جلد کتاب داری? How many books do you have? And I can say, for example, 8 جلد. 8 جلد کتاب دارم. چند جلد کتاب داری؟ 8 جلد کتاب دارم. چند نفر در آن اتاق هستند؟ 10 نفر. چند دونه کتاب داری؟ 6 دونه. چند تا سیب خوردی؟ 5 تا سیب. چند تا مرد در اتاق هست؟ 3 تا مرد. So it is important to remember that these counting words are optional. The sentence makes total sense even without them, but they are used in Persian more commonly. They are used, and there are so many more that are used, for example, for ships, for airplanes, for some animals that are not necessary to know now.